Now, the Flamingo is used to all kinds of goings-on, but even the management of the Flamingo was impressed by Dame Blanche.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 greatest American actors of all time.
Oh, the truth, I don't even know what is the truth. After all these lies I have told.
For this list, we're looking at those talented American performers who have made the greatest impact on the big screen. There are so many more who could have made this list. Who's your favorite American actor? Let us know in the comments. Hey Mojoholics! For a chance to win cash prizes, play our live daily trivia challenges every day at 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern only at WatchMojo.com/play. Number 20. Leonardo DiCaprio. The long-standing joke about him not winning an Oscar aside, Leonardo DiCaprio has been demonstrating his great ability as an actor from the start.
What satisfaction canst thou have tonight?
The exchange of thy love's faithful vow for mine.
His early work shows a dedicated actor with a long and rich career ahead of him. Making the transition from 90s heartthrob to leading man, DiCaprio traded in his boyish charms for something a bit more substantial. His roles have only increased in difficulty since those early days. Part of that has to do with his working with some of the greatest directors of the last few decades. The other part is his courage to constantly evolve, building up to his long overdue Oscar-winning performance in The Revenant.
He's afraid. He knows how far I came for him.
Number 19. Philip Seymour Hoffman. A character actor in the truest sense. Even if he had never broken out as a leading man, Philip Seymour Hoffman would still be counted among the best.
Well, I'd only just handed them the final scene when the bellhop told me I had a phone call.
Over his unfairly short career, he portrayed almost every kind of screen character there is. Standout work in complicated roles like those in Boogie Nights, Magnolia, and The Master are only a few highlights. His incredible Oscar-winning work as the famed author Truman Capote once again highlighted his ability to disappear into a character almost completely. When he died in 2014, it was clear there was still so much left for us to see.
If we are not helping him, then it is we who have failed him.
Number 18. Elizabeth Taylor. As famous for her off-camera exploits as her on-camera ones, Elizabeth Taylor might just be the first modern Hollywood it girl.
You must never envy Caesar or anyone, anything again.
She was no stranger to drama, controversy, and scandal. However, she had all the talent and charisma to back it up. Beginning her career as a child star, Taylor didn't just make it over the hurdle to adult stardom, she cleared it completely. Her persona as an elegant but seductive man-eater was only part of her success. Her depth of feeling and tremendous skill, particularly in her Oscar-winning role in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, made it impossible for anyone to write her off as a mere glamour queen.
Daddy knows how to run things.
Make no mistake, she was glamorous, but she was also so much more.
Some men would give their right arm for the chance.
Number 17. James Stewart. Male stars of old Hollywood could be cool and brutal or suave and sophisticated, but most of them were larger than life.
In other words, I've got a piece to speak. And blow hot or cold, I'm gonna speak it.
James Stewart was the classic era's great everyman. With his crystal blue eyes and slow drawl, there was something familiar and less glamorous about him than his contemporaries. He could portray boyish naivete with ease. His idealistic characters in Frank Capra's sentimental classics allowed him to play into that warmth.
That's right. That's right. Attaboy, Clarence.
When the occasional anti-hero role required him to shift into a darker mode, such as in the Alfred Hitchcock masterpiece Vertigo, he was just as engrossing. Number 16. Viola Davis. It was far from her first screen role, but when Viola Davis appeared in Doubt and blew Hollywood legend Meryl Streep right off the screen, audiences the world over took notice.
I'm talking about the boy's nature now. Not anything he's done.
A steady character actress throughout the 90s and early 2000s, Davis rocketed to fame for her ability to emote and stay grounded in the reality of a scene. Her stage training is evident in her monologues, which are always pointed and perfectly calibrated for the screen. Genre-wise, her movies are all over the place, but they all have one thing in common. They all have a lived-in, well-modulated performance from Viola Davis. Number 15. Robert Redford. As As actor, director, and co-founder of the Sundance Film Festival, Redford is known for his commitment to his craft and the art of filmmaking in general.
Laughed loud and long, and all the while his eyes went to and fro. "Ha ha," quoth he, "full plain I see. The devil knows how to row."
However, like many of his contemporaries, Redford began his career on Broadway. Once he appeared in multiple movies alongside Natalie Wood, he became a hot commodity in Hollywood.
Why do you do that? Why are you so fanciful? Why do you make everything seem so special?
He became one of the most bankable actors of the next decade, headlining some of the most unforgettable movies of the 1960s and 70s. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, The Way We Were, and many others were made unforgettable because of his steady and charming screen persona. Number 14, Morgan Freeman.
But as the sunlight begins to disappear at the end of their 5th year, and the warm days begin to cool, they too will climb out of the water, and they will march.
His sonorous voice is unmistakable. Given his assertive screen presence, it makes sense that he didn't really find fame until he was nearly 40. His breakthrough role in 1987's Street Smart earned him his first Academy Award nomination and propelled him to movie stardom.
You look a little paler than usual, boy.
You play rough.
Well, it ain't all basketball and dishwashers out here. Move it out, Reg.
From haunted police detectives to bat-wielding high school principals to God himself, Freeman shines best when he plays a figure of authority. But he's far from a villain. His persona may be consistently self-assured, but he also manages to find the fundamental goodness in all of his characters.
Get busy living or get busy dying. That's goddamn right.
Number 13, Jane Fonda. How good does an actor have to be able to take a 15-year hiatus and just pick up where they left off? Apparently, the answer is Jane Fonda good.
I'll tell you something, Jack. It is in the bells that I hear my voices.
Few actors have had careers as varied and full of so many distinct eras as Fonda. She started out as Hollywood royalty, the daughter of actor Henry Fonda, and began playing in Girl Next Door roles. In the 1970s, she pivoted towards her controversial political activism and a series of socially conscious films that won both acclaim and awards. Despite an early retirement in 1990, Fonda returned to films in 2005, reclaiming her spot as one of Hollywood's most powerful forces on screen and off.
Oh, I've missed you so much. I promise I'll never leave you again.
Oh my God, Mom, look at you. You look fantastic.
It's just something I threw together.
Number 12, Humphrey Bogart. Exemplifying the cool masculinity of the classic period, Humphrey Bogart's mannerisms and line readings made him one of Hollywood's most imitated actors.
Hello, Sam. Hello, Luke. Say, that was too bad about Miles. Yeah, it's a tough break.
Casually tossing out sardonic dialogue with a cigarette in his mouth, nobody could ever get the better of Bogart. His BS detector is off the charts. With his performances in the murder mysteries The Maltese Falcon and The Big Sleep, he's largely responsible for the screen archetypes associated with the hard-boiled detective. Although known for playing tough guys, his screen persona actually made every romantic lead he played more believable. Bogart represented the kind of masculinity most American men wanted to emulate.
Now. He's looking at you, kid.
Number 11, Sidney Poitier. His debut role in 1950's No Way Out is a perfect encapsulation of what made Sidney Poitier so special.
Look, he's sick, he's crazy, he's everything you said. But I can't kill a man just because he hates me.
Even in the face of prejudice and racism, he was a poised and stalwart presence. His characters ran against the grain of what Hollywood generally allowed African Americans to be on the silver screen. Not just a great actor, Poitier was also a Hollywood trailblazer and barrier breaker.
Let me tell you something. I owe you nothing. If you carried that bag 1,000,000 miles, you did what you were supposed to do.
In 1964, he earned the distinction of becoming the first black performer to win the Academy Award for Best Actor for his role in Lilies of the Field. Later in his career, he used his fame for good as a diplomat. Number 10, Robin Williams. If being adored by millions were enough to make someone a great actor, Robin Williams has more than earned his spot on this list.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Luckily for all of us, he brought so much more to the table. Dogged by early career criticisms that he was merely playing himself in front of a camera, Williams took more dramatic roles that demonstrated his range.
Your move, Chief.
Even his more comedic roles like Mrs. Doubtfire became grounded by serious circumstances. His once-in-a-generation gift for impressions and improvisation, irrepressible energy, and deft approach to both comic and dramatic roles are so extraordinary, they should be studied in labs.
That the human spirit is more powerful than any drug. And that is what needs to be nourished.
Number 9. Frances McDormand. With 3 Academy Awards and a boatload of other trophies on her shelf, Frances McDormand has earned a reputation for excellence.
You ain't trying to make me believe in reincarnation or something, are you? Because you're pretty, but you ain't her.
Widely known for her collaborations with the Coen brothers, McDormand is a master at creating specific and distinctive characters. In her most iconic role as Marge Gunderson in Fargo, she is somehow able to balance big comedic swings with a real sense of humanity and empathy.
So we got a trooper pull someone over. We got a shooting. These folks drive by. There's a high-speed pursuit. Ends here, and then this execution type deal.
Throughout her career, she's also been praised for her authenticity. If acting is reacting, few screen actors do it better than her. Even when she's not speaking, it's thrilling to just watch her exist. Number 8. Robert De Niro. He may be one of director Martin Scorsese's go-to gangsters, but even this actor's work under the legendary director shows a breadth of emotions, intensity, and archetypes.
You talking to me? You talking to me? Then who the hell else are you talking? You talking to me?
His character in Taxi Driver is a favorite for impersonators, but watching Travis Bickle's God complex wear away at his psyche is not for the faint of heart. De Niro's dedication to giving his all to every character is admirable. Like many of his contemporaries, he had an explosive energy that made him seem unpredictable on the screen. Unlike them, though, De Niro had a way of making his menace seem reasonable and measured. His ability for deadpan villainy lent itself to comic roles later in his career.
Did I not clearly explain the circle of trust to you, Greg?
Yeah, I think I got it.
Number 7. Jack Nicholson. What sets this now retired actor apart is his playfulness.
The patient came to me with a large hole in his abdomen, caused by a fire poker used on him by his wife.
He's a rambunctious performer, with a sense of mischief that can be hilarious and horrifying depending on the circumstances. Nicholson shines best in roles where he's got his tongue in his cheek. This is not the kind of guy you'd want to cast to play, say, Abraham Lincoln, unless you had a really novel take. But if you need someone to play a hotel caretaker who's slowly going mad, an institution patient with a hatred for conformity, or even the devil himself, call Jack. He's got you covered.
I don't quite get how that's a compliment for me.
You make me want to be a better man.
Number 6. Denzel Washington. With a cool confidence and unmatched gravitas in front of a camera, Denzel Washington has imbued his characters with humanity and power no matter their circumstances or social station.
Most important thing in business is honesty, integrity, hard work, family, never forgetting where we came from.
He won his Oscar for playing a corrupt narcotics officer in Training Day, but his performances in Malcolm X and Fences demonstrate his skill. He may be one of our last real movie stars.
King Kong ain't got on me!
He's the kind of performer who is so distinctive, yet somehow believable in every role. Whether it's an adaptation of an acclaimed play, a high-octane action thriller, or a probing biopic, you can count on him to commit wholeheartedly.
Like you? Who the hell said I got to like you? What law is there say I got to like you?
Number 5. Al Pacino. Few actors represent the gritty atmosphere of the post-classical Hollywood period than Al Pacino.
Whoever told you that you could work with men?
His first leading role was as a heroin user in The Panic in Needle Park, but his performance in The Godfather cemented him as a first-rate screen actor. Since then, he's completed the prestigious Triple Crown of acting, having won an Oscar, 2 Tonys, and 2 Emmys. What makes Pacino so thrilling to watch is that you never really know what he's gonna do. Even his more heroic characters have a touch of mania to them. As a viewer, it makes for an edge-of-your-seat viewing experience every time.
Just when I thought I was out,
they pull me back in.
Number 4, Tom Hanks. It takes a very special actor to pull off the everyman routine without sacrificing too much in the way of depth.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
On top of embodying some of the most beloved movie characters of the past few decades, Tom Hanks has shown us his many layers as a performer. Though his screen presence is usually warm and familiar, he's able to use that to draw us in. Whether he needs us to laugh or cry, we are always in the palm of his hand.
Wilson! I'm sorry! I'm sorry, Wilson!
On top of Oscars, the AFI Life Achievement Award, and the Presidential Medal of Freedom, Hanks is regarded around the world as an American icon. Number 3, Katharine Hepburn. At her most memorable, Hepburn played parts that reflected her iron will and Yankee sophistication.
And of course you've heard about me. I'm the black sheep. That's a goat.
Roles that allowed her to wear the pants, so to speak. But over her 67 years in show business, Katharine Hepburn proved to be one of classic Hollywood's most versatile and enduring performers. She's remembered for witty roles in Bringing Up Baby and The Philadelphia Story, but those are just the tip of the iceberg as far as her talent is concerned.
Oh, you've got all the arrogance of your class, all right, haven't you?
What have classes to do with it? What do they matter except for the people in them?
Dramatic turns in Long Day's Journey into Night and The Lion in Winter showed a seasoned actress constantly evolving and going deeper into characters.
I dressed my maids as Amazons and rode bare-breasted halfway to Damascus.
Number 2, Marlon Brando. People who saw Marlon Brando in the Broadway production of A Streetcar Named Desire talk about it as if it were a religious experience.
Hey, Stella! Hey, Stella!
His performance in the 1951 film version brought his electric and brutal style of acting to millions more. Brando's emergence marked a shift in what America expected from its leading men. He was brooding and brutal, while also being soft and vulnerable. Brando's career was incredibly inconsistent, and his most famous role as Don Vito Corleone came at the end of a long string of box office disappointments. Despite this, the famously intense actor gave us some of the most engrossing and dangerous performances ever captured on film.
Instead, you come into my house on the day my daughter's to be married and you ask me to do murder. Money.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. Clark Gable. Whether it was a comedy or an epic, he was one of the Depression-era's great leading men.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Glenn Close. The 8-time Oscar nominee has a knack for crafting rich characters.
I became a virtuoso of deceit.
Kirk Douglas. Known for his explosive but assured performances in the biggest movies of the 50s and 60s.
Well, I'd like to point out that this soldier has distinguished himself in some of the bloodiest battles of the war.
Angela Bassett. Screen icon whose work never misses and who famously did the thing.
He's got me smiling when I should be ashamed. Got me laughing when my heart is in pain.
Paul Newman. Regularly cited as one of Hollywood's most successful students of method acting.
They say act as if you had faith. Faith will be given to you.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Meryl Streep. Not only the greatest American actor of all time, Streep is one of our great screen chameleons.
But that night, I kept repeating to myself, I have saved my son. I have saved my son. Tomorrow I can see him.
She almost seems like the anti-method actor, as she crafts her characters from the outside in. Her technique is most evident in her renowned ear for accents. In her 5-decade career, she has given us the full range of human experience. She devastated us in Sophie's Choice. She made us laugh in Death Becomes Her. She terrified us in The Devil Wears Prada. Oh, and did we mention she can sing? If it weren't enough that she's insanely talented, she's the rare actor who has earned as much affection from her colleagues as she has from her audience.
When Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, did America go, cap in hand, and ask Tojo for a peaceful negotiation of terms?
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.